Party with your host, Dustin Rybka.
Hello and welcome to Sex Party. I'm your host, Dustin Rybka. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a big episode. With me this week is Juree. Sarah is a model, a podcaster, and OnlyFans content creator. Sarah was a school teacher in Indiana who was fired for having an OnlyFans. After that, the media got a hold of her story and created a huge circus. She talks about what that was like for her. She talks about what that was like for her kids. I don't want to say too much. There are some twists and turns in this story. At the end of the episode, Sarah talks about what she's up to on OnlyFans now. And she also goes through the burner. So without further ado, please enjoy my conversation with Sarah Juree.
This week's conversation.
Sarah Juree, welcome to Sex Party. How are you doing?
I am awesome. How are you?
I am lovely. There's a man or multiple men like banging around somewhere in my apartment building. So if anybody hears that, it's not my fault, I swear, but it's like the Mario Brothers going bonkers with hammers somewhere. Who knows?
Yeah.
Other than that,
like
I'm great though.
Wreck-It Ralph.
Yeah.
I like lots of men banging around my apartment too.
Yeah, I bet you do.
Okay. I like being invited to sex parties.
Yeah, well, welcome to this one. You know,
this is my first one actually, so thank you.
Amazing. Yeah. I think this is going to be an incredible episode. And I think that, you know, I usually say, and this will be no exception. I usually say for the people who don't know who you are, like tell them or me and tell us all, even the men with hammers, who you are and what you do. But I feel like, tell them anything you want, because this is going to be a really awesome episode.
Yeah, I'm so excited. You like chased me down on Instagram.
Did.
You were like, I have to have you on my podcast. I'm so happy to be here. Thank you for letting me share my story. I am Sarah Juree, and I am infamously known for being the teacher in Indiana last summer that was fired for having an OnlyFans page. So this is my opportunity to talk about my story, why I started the page, who encouraged me to start the page, and what life has been like now that I've been an OnlyFans model.
Yeah, I think, okay, and like, for those of you who don't know, I'm relentless when I want someone on the show. I will like unsend the DM and send it again, like right, boom, 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 until they're like either stop, please stop, or I'm coming on. And 90% of the time they're like, all right, I'm in. Sorry, I had other things to do, podcast boy, but we got you. And I think, you know, one of the reasons I might have been 20%, 25% more relentless with you is because I think this story, right, it's such a snapshot of where we're at in this weirdo country world right now. And I think it's really, really important. People are just going to be on the edge of their seats. So I know you've told this story before, right?
Yeah.
But will you start at the beginning, the very beginning, and like walk us through it? I don't care how long it takes.
Okay. So I have been a single mom for about 6 years. So I've been on this solo journey of like reclaiming my body, reclaiming my life. But being a single being a single parent, whether you're a woman or a man, it's really hard. It's very lonely. And I was single much, much longer than I ever expected to be. So like 6 years into the journey, and then financially trying to be self-sufficient on a teacher's salary. I never got any child support. Both of my parents are dead. So it was just me living on a wing and a prayer and credit cards. So I started becoming friends with some women who were very entrepreneurial, and they really inspired me. So I tried almost every side hustle you could think of. Like I worked with a friend. I did teeth whitening. During COVID, when little kids were having to do online learning, the little emerging readers were having difficulties. So I had a couple of my friends reach out, and they were like, my kids don't know how to read because it's virtual. So I started doing reading tutoring out of my house. I got a trainer, got into shape. I started doing keto coaching on the side and got my certificate in group exercise. So I would work out with friends for money. I donated plasma. I purchased sublimation equipment and started doing logos and shirts and mugs and tumblers. Like if there was $20, I was hustling for it, baby. Like I was determined to be able to like stand on my own feet financially. But even though I was working really, really hard, and those jobs were all in addition to my full-time teaching job, I just found myself getting more and more caught up in this poverty cycle. And it became very discouraging. It was really wearing on my mental health. My kids were calling me sad mommy because I was crying so much. And last spring, there was a Facebook friend who is about my age. I'm 41. And, her body's similar to mine. And she had posted that she had started an OnlyFans page and that she had made $10,000 that month. Well, as a struggling single mom who also has been on dating sites for a long time. So that's something I want to kind of touch on is like the dating culture and everything that has become socially and morally acceptable on those platforms. So I was like constantly getting inundated with unsolicited dick pics, and I was already video chatting and I was already sexting. So, some people have asked, they're like, was it hard to go from being a teacher to OnlyFans platform? I'm like, no, because I was already participating in this whole culture of virtual sex. I just wasn't getting paid for it. Mm-hmm. So I see that she's made a lot of money, and I'm like about to have the month of July off of work. And my wheels are turning, and I'm like, if I could make this money, I knew nothing about OnlyFans, like literally zero. I could buy my car back. I could get out of credit card debt. Like I could just do all these things. So I start a page, don't really do anything. Like I make maybe $50 on it or something, just selling some nudes. And what's so funny too is like during this time, I've been celibate for about 2 years. So I wasn't even like having sex in real life. But anyhow, so I go back to work and I had to teach 3 weeks of summer camp. So I'm really not doing anything with OnlyFans because my kids are home for the summer and I'm busy with work. On the last day of summer camp, which was a Thursday, and then I'm about to have my month of July off, we have a casual conversation about sex work in the office. And my coworker, her husband had just gone to North or South Carolina for a bachelor party. And they had hired a stripper. And the stripper asked for $600 just to show up to the party. And we're all teachers and we're like, that's a lot of money. Like, okay, that's not tips or anything. So she says, my coworker says, yeah, I was thinking of starting an OnlyFans page, but I might have my husband do it because gay men love him. So we're kind of laughing. And then my boss, who's always been kind of a pervert, was like, yeah, you both should start an OnlyFans page and you should sell your used panties on them. Men love used panties and you would make a lot of money selling panties on OnlyFans. Well, I'm a struggling single mom and my boss just told me start an OnlyFans page.
Meanwhile, he's searching to see if he could buy your underwear. Yeah.
Well, yeah, probably. Because that's not the first time he had mentioned used panties.
Of course. Yeah.
So that's my last day of summer break. And I feel very comfortable promoting my page now. Because I'm like, I'm not going to get fired. My boss is okay with... My boss encouraged me to do this. So I start promoting it on my Facebook page. And, I'm always like thinking, how am I going to get fans? Because you have to have a funnel. I knew that much. And I probably had like 600 friend requests from men because I've been single so long. So I just go through like, let them all in. And then, men are very predictable. Like as soon as they get the friend request, where do they go? Your DM. So they would go to my DM and I just hit them with my link. And I was like, okay, if you're going to be that predictable, I'm just going to funnel you to my page. Like if this is what you want, this is what you can have.
Genius.
So that weekend, I'm like promoting my page because I have a month to like see if I can make any money on this thing before I go back to work. And so my boss tells me, sell my panties on OnlyFans on Thursday. On Sunday, I'm at the gym working out and I get a direct message on Facebook from this extreme right-wing blogger in my community. And I had sort of known about him in my peripheral because he loves to target teachers. And I had kind of seen some stuff he had done before. And he messages me at the gym basically telling me like, hey, I'm going to blackmail you. I know that you're a teacher with an OnlyFans page. And I said, well, my OnlyFans page is clean because at the time I was only selling nudes behind a paywall. So I was like, well, my page is clean. And the only way someone was going to get a nude was consenting and purchasing it behind the paywall. So that man had gone to my OnlyFans page, purchased my nude photos, sent them to my employer, and I know he emailed them because on my way driving home from the gym, my coworker calls and is like, Sarah, are you okay? What's happening? What's going on? She was so scared for me. And 2 days later, I get called into the office and fired for having an OnlyFans page while my boss sat there and said nothing about encouraging me to have one. So then a couple days later, this blogger writes this crazy article about me. People use the word revenge porn, but I really choose intentionally to use the word cyber rape because that's what he did to me. Essentially, he cyber raped me by distributing my nude photos without my consent all over Facebook, all over Twitter in this attempt to shame and humiliate me. So in the middle of all of this, he also posts my termination letter behind a paywall for people to read and making money off of my termination letter that he had received from the courts when I had submitted it as evidence that he had been harassing me to get a protective order against him. And then the next thing I know, if all of this wasn't traumatizing enough, my story gets picked up in the media and I'm written about all over the world. You want to talk about like trauma and taking my breath away and being like so scared from my life.
Well, okay, let's pause the story here because we're going to come back to it. This is a great place to stop because there's a lot going on with you in this moment. So
a lot. If
we're in your shoes, right? You get called into the office. You probably know why, right?
Yeah.
You have an idea. And then this asshole next to you, your boss, who's been creepy, trying to buy your fucking panties for however long.
Yeah.
You could throw him under the bus at any time and whatever. So the stage is set there. But before you answer any of that, what did that first part of it feel like? What was in your heart, in your gut? Like, was it Were you angry? Were you scared? Were it a little of both?
Which part? Like the email, the DM from the blogger, or getting called into work?
I think as you're sitting in that chair in whomever's office, right, and you're getting fired, what did it feel like to be betrayed by this guy on the right? This weirdo blogger with a small penis is running around doing whatever, and then you're being fired because you're trying to make money to survive as a woman with kids. It
was unreal. It was like actually after I got fired, I had a lot of dreams about it because it felt so unreal. I'd never been fired before, and I've always had great reviews, and I was always this excellent teacher, a beloved teacher, and it felt like a betrayal, especially with my boss, and it especially felt as a woman, all of these men trying to add shame upon shame upon shame to me. So it was like the cyber rape. My body is pornographic. My body is wrong. He's taking my power away by distributing them without my consent. Then I get body shamed by lots of people on the internet. And then I'm sitting in the office and my boss's boss is shaming me once again by making me feel like I was doing something wrong and inappropriate by being on OnlyFans, which is so interesting to me because I'm going to circle back to the dating apps here. Nobody cared when I was on dating apps about the hookup culture and how women are treated like sexual consumables there. Nobody cared about me then. Nobody pries into your time off after work when I was on dating sites, and I don't judge people who are promiscuous, but I never was. But it would have been more morally and socially acceptable for me to have been bringing men into my bedroom in real life and around my children. That behavior, socially acceptable, morally acceptable, and I'd still have my job if I was on Tinder, So I think my story has so many layers to it, especially in the overreach with employers into your personal life. Where is the line? If you're a swinger, if you're gay, if you're participating in the dating culture, why does your employer get to decide something like morality? And why does me being a celibate woman finding a safe and virtual space for me to express my sexual energy, why does that constitute immorality? When I wasn't harming anyone, I wasn't hurting anyone.
Yeah, and like the big elephant in the room, right, is that suspiciously no one gave a shit until you started making money from your own body.
That's it. Yes, and you hit the nail on the head where it's not the behavior I was participating in that triggers people and makes people upset, because everybody, married, single, is participating in virtual sex some way, somehow. Whether you're a consumer of porn, whether you are sliding into someone's DM and you're married and you're testing the waters for an affair. And you look at that, even morality, like if someone's having an affair on their wife, is that your employer's right to be involved and fire you for something like that? It's a real icy situation. But what really, really, really angers people and triggers them is that I, as a woman, discovered this platform that empowered me sexually and financially. And all of the virtual sex behaviors that I was already participating in, I found a way to monetize my sexuality, and it makes people lose their minds.
Yeah,
and
it does.
All of a sudden, I'm written about, scandalously, and that's so interesting about this cancel culture. What they want to do is make examples of people so that other people would be too scared to have what happened to them happen, or, to what happened to them happen to themselves.
Right.
And, I feel like in this strange way, I became this like figurehead for everyone that's triggered over OnlyFans, and also this war against teachers from the right-wing conservatives. Like all of a sudden, our culture is waging war against teachers and librarians.
Yeah, it's absolutely ridiculous, and none of those Republican politicians actually feel that way. They're just using this stuff to fucking get votes from the psychos who want to ban books.
Yeah, it's a platform for religious zealots, and it's so interesting because there was a local fan in town, and I had asked him, "How did you find out about me?" He said, "Oh, that local conservative blogger, he goes on a conservative radio show, and he's like, I found you that way." And I laugh because I'm like, those conservatives, they're the freaks. They're the freakiest ones.
Yeah.
He wants all the dominatrix stuff, and he's a married man,
That's the thing about haters in general, right? Like with this show, with doing Sex Party, like anytime I put a comment, like just me on Instagram or Facebook that, maybe I don't like LeBron, or maybe I think Elon Musk is acting a little strange. If I comment on anything, they'll go and grab a link and they'll say, "Is this you, bro? You interview all these women and you're sex positive. You're an asshole." Like they go off, and I'm like, "Hey, thanks for the free promo. You're doing way more than the average person who loves the show, so I appreciate that." Yes. And then they just stop usually, and that's
kind of what I discovered about the media. Like as first, it was so traumatizing, and again, like the humiliation, the shame, the shock of being this private citizen who's now my face is all over the news around the world.
Right.
And then I realized, wow, the media is my free marketing.
Right. Okay. So pause there, because that's another one. So let's go back to the principal's office, right? Yes. Okay. Yes. So your boss
I was in the principal.
Totally fucking throws you under the bus, right? Throws you to the wolves. And are they saying degrading things amongst themselves towards you about being on OnlyFans and that's dirty and all? Was there any of that? Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, basically, like in my termination letter, it was that I had posted inappropriate pictures, but it's like I'd been posting nudes on dating sites for a year.
Sure.
And it was like I never posted the nudes in a public space. The blogger did. The blogger leaked my photo. It's not that I did something wrong posting the photos for a consenting adult.
Right.
It was that, the cyber rape. So he was like, basically the inappropriate photos. But what's another interesting layer to my story was I was a civilian teacher for a program that was housed in a military facility for years and years and years and years. I got sexually harassed and stalked by a soldier. I was sexually harassed externally and internally. So even my boss telling me to sell my panties, he would compare my body to my coworker's body. He would tell us which teachers that were visiting teachers he was sexually attracted to. So years and years and years, as long as a woman, I was sexualized, but in a victim capacity, it was fine and okay as long as I never said anything.
Of course.
But now as a woman, I finally take my power back and reclaim my sexuality and say, hey, if you want this, you need to go to my page and pay me for this.
Right.
That was the fireable offense. But for years and years and years, the women in the building couldn't take the trash out by themselves because it wasn't safe.
Right. And like none of this makes any sense. And like, why the fuck are we not paying teachers the highest salary in the land? That, I mean,
Yeah.
they're only educating your kids, ding dongs, right? So I think everyone's wondering at this point, which we'll come back to everything we've
Yeah.
laid out really, really nice in this first section of the show. But like, I feel like everybody wants to know, you're sitting there, you're being fired from a job that doesn't pay you shit to begin with. You've been sexually harassed by someone. They've done nothing about it, it sounds like, right?
Yes.
And then this guy's like, you know, telling you to sell your fucking panties online and whatever
Yeah.
at multiple times, right?
Yes.
Did you tell on your boss? Did you then throw your boss under the bus to his boss?
No, because you have to understand, like, my mental
Sure.
state. Like, Thursday this happens and I'm going on break and I'm like, oh, I'm going to try to make some side money. Sunday, the blogger messages me at the gym. I'm panicked. I'm frantic. I'm scared to death because who does that to a single mom? Basically threatening to take my primary income away and humiliate me and leak my photos.
Yeah, someone with no spine.
Who does that to somebody? Like, I wasn't doing anything to anybody. It wasn't like he was some concerned person who, I'm going to let your employer know. And things could have been handled privately. No, he had to like up the ante and, do shame me publicly, like, and write 6 articles about me. And when I get fired, write an article about how happy he was he got me fired, just like ruthless with me. And so when I get called in to get fired and I know I'm getting fired, I am feeling scared and humiliated, and also enraged. Because I know that my boss had just encouraged me to do this, and I'm enraged that another man is trying to shame me and tell me I did something wrong when I did nothing wrong as a woman. I did nothing inappropriate.
Yeah.
I did nothing at work. I didn't in fact, I have the text from my boss from summer camps, how great summer camps were and how awesome I did leading them. Like, it's not like, people like to try to, link me to other teachers that did something deviant in their classroom. And I never did. Like, even now as a content maker, when I have my kids around, I don't make content when they're around. Like,
Sure.
just like any person who has a sex life outside of work, it doesn't mean you bring it into the boardroom or the classroom.
Right. Yeah.
You leave your sex life at home.
Well, this fucking blogger asshole, if we can even call him that, like, he's just trying to paint this picture like you're installing a pole in the classroom and teaching him how to pole dance or whatever. Could you imagine what's on that guy's fucking computer? Jesus Christ. So, and by him taking these things off of OnlyFans, he did violate OnlyFans terms of service too.
Correct. Yes, he broke copyright rules and also revenge porn laws. The problem is I just haven't made enough like money yet to handle him legally. And I did reach out to him because he's a hot mess. You can only imagine the hot mess this man is. So I had reached out to his ex-father-in-law, who's a lawyer, and guess what his ex-wife is?
I don't know. I'm not even gonna try. Of course.
Of
course she's a teacher. Oh my God.
But
wow.
I reach out to his ex-father-in-law and I explained the situation, and his ex-father-in-law was like, listen, basically, he has nothing and no prospect of ever having anything in the future. So with him, I really feel compelled to speak out about cyber rape. And that's why I specifically use those terms, because it's a real problem. It's another way that the patriarchy really tries to shame and humiliate women by using technology as the weapon.
Yeah.
And I feel so, I feel so aligned with advocating for laws, criminalization laws for this, because when you go and look at the psychological effects of someone who has been revenge porn or cyber raped, it is very similar to being raped in real life, which I have a rape experience in my history. And so, you know, I was reading about the psychological effects, because you have to understand the depression and suicidal thoughts I had for months and months after this happened. I'm not here to convey that this experience in the very beginning wasn't extremely triggering and extremely traumatizing to me. You know, and that I want to convey, because doing something to somebody like that man did to me, it has very serious mental health effects on the person's psyche.
Totally. And, you know, I'm totally sorry that you had to go through any of that. That's terrible to hear. I can't even imagine how it feels with the trauma of this incident and then the previous incident you mentioned. These are things that men don't have to deal with, right?
Yes.
And I can say, as a man, I'm 99% sure that the reason why men blast women and shame women and, you know, strew them across the internet, right, is because they either assume or it's true that that woman won't give them any attention. Yeah. That's what, and that right there is a sickness that needs to be at least addressed or talked about, you know? Yeah. And I think, you know, what's really important about your story at this point where we're at now is you're having all this trauma. These people are knocking at your door. You're getting the emails. You're getting like people saying this, saying that. You're overwhelmed. You're probably sick to your stomach, right? Yeah. But then you have an idea. Then you have an epiphany. You have this little voice that says, you can use this to your advantage. So how did that happen and what did that look like?
Yes.
Because this is awesome.
Yes, thank you. So I did have like a friend that kind of in the very beginning when this all happened aligned with me in the beginning part of my journey to kind of help me through this and strategize with me. And that was when I realized, because, that first media cycle I had, I'm like traumatized, scared to death.
Yeah.
I made $17,000 that month.
Hell yeah, you did. Yes. Thanks for the promo, bitches. Exactly. Keep it going.
I had never made so much in 1 month in my life. I was making money overnight. Like people were reading about me, going straight to my page. And then that was when I realized this might like be a blessing in disguise.
Fuck yeah.
And these guys really, you know, coached me through it. I paid for a second media cycle with a PR company in October. Because the first time when the story came out, that was all scandalous and media was picking up the story the blogger wrote about me. But it felt really important that I took control of the narrative. I told my story. And then that was when I got an article with Vice News. And that was big for me. And now, like, I just continue advocating for myself, telling my story, because like you said, there's so many layers to it. There's so many good discussion points that we have to have to reach any amount of healing for ourselves and each other around this idea of sex and bodies and sexuality. And I remember I was on the Dr. Phil show. And
what's he like in person?
Exactly like you would think, Dr. Phil.
Did he try and buy your panties?
No, he didn't. But you know, there was a little shame element with his.
Of course, like, what an a-hole.
The title of the thing was from saints to sex workers. Like, again, trying to make this link that I'm bad. Like, I'm now bad. Whoops, sorry.
No, you're good.
I'm now bad or something. I'm no longer a saint.
Oh, God.
But it's interesting because, well, two things. I was sitting on the stage with two former teachers who are now millionaires because of OnlyFans. And I'm going to tell you the gotcha question that everyone asks a woman who's on OnlyFans. I also want to talk about, like, the men who make content on OnlyFans with the women. You never hear about them.
Yeah, they get a free pass.
They never lose their jobs.
No.
You never hear one word about, like, who do you think women are making content with? Like,
Exactly.
I mean, other women, other hot women, but men, like, again, never heard of one man who is filming their escapades on OnlyFans losing their job. It's always the women. But I'll tell you the gotcha question. And Dr. Phil asked it. And I'm going to answer this.
Okay.
The gotcha question for every woman that's on OnlyFans is, what about your daughter? Would you be okay with your daughter doing OnlyFans? And I'm going to answer this telling you what I know about the OnlyFans platform. On the OnlyFans platform, I have never been more respected as a woman. I've never met kinder men. I have an opportunity to express myself sexually under my complete sense of control of myself. I only do what I feel comfortable doing. It's a beautiful platform that is all about consent. And what consent looks like and feels like, because your yes has to mean yes, you know? And men on that platform, I have only met men who participate in the consent culture. And so when it comes to would I have my daughter be a content maker on OnlyFans, the answer is yes, because it's not the OnlyFans platform as a woman that has brought so much healing to my life that I'm worried about for my daughter. You know what I'm worried for? You know, the conversations I don't want to have with her: rape culture, sexual harassment culture at work, revenge porn, the hookup culture.
Right. Some weirdo priest fucking sending her messages or whatever. The call is always coming from inside the fucking house because you built the wrong house. Yeah.
Yes. The creepy men, like my daughter. This is a story I've never shared with anybody, but when I was like hustling really, really hard for money, I was selling shirts and stuff at the county fair. But I had my kids this day. And I'm like trying to be super mom, right? I'm like, I'm going to go make money. And it's at the fair. We have this tiny little county fair. So I go and buy like wristbands for my kids who are, you know, they're like 10. And they got their phones. And I'm like, hey, mommy's going to be here in the building. Here's your phone. I have twins, so there's two of them. And I'm like, go ride some rides, go have some fun. And then, you know, every 20 minutes, come check back in with mom, right? So I hadn't seen the kids for a while. So I start panicking. I'm like, okay, I better go find them. I go and find my kids. And my daughter says to me, Mom, I got on this ride with my son, and the carny had let this creepy man on the ride with my daughter who like rubbed her shoulder and told her how pretty she was. And my daughter tells me, like, Mom, I felt sick to my stomach. And then as her mom, I am feeling enraged. I'm feeling sick to my stomach. I'm feeling like I didn't protect my daughter because I'm in the barn selling shirts for $20 instead of enjoying the fair with my kids because I'm trying to pay our rent. You know, that story really is a turning point as well, because as a single mom, you're trying to make ends meet. Your options are limited because it's like, what kind of job do I do? If I do a job on the side that I got to get a babysitter for, well, who's watching your kids? I got to pay for a babysitter out of pocket, or I only have limited availability because I have another full-time job and I get my kids half time. You know, it's almost like the culture was set up for me to just lose or give up or accept defeat. You know, like, here I am doing my best. I want my kids to be proud of me. And then OnlyFans, I found a way to make money doing what I was already doing, like taking photos of myself on my phone literally from anywhere. I can be my own boss. And I will tell you about that the day I got fired. And he was, I did not sign anything because I did not agree with the firing. And he said to me, you know, when a future employer ever calls us about your employment here, the only thing we're going to be able to give them are the dates of your employment. And I looked at him and I said to him, I will never work for another person again. From this day on, I am my own boss.
Fuck yeah.
And I have been too.
Yeah, fuck yeah.
Throughout this whole experience,
yeah.
I became my own boss. I work from home. I drop my kids off at school, and I've been figuring this out.
Yeah. Everybody who's listening to this right now or watching it is like, yeah, fuck yeah. Because that's what it's about. And to deal with those lows, like some fucking weirdo carny trying to run a extortion triangle, whatever. And then you're selling buttons and shirts. Like, that is the worst. That you feel terrible. And there's nothing you could have done because you're, at the end of the day, you're trying to put clothes on your kids, put food in their mouth and keep them safe. Which brings me to this question. When it first popped off and they let you go, they fired you and they were rude and the media came running. What was it like for your kids? Did you shield that from them, or what was that experience like?
That's such a good question. By God's grace, when this all went down, my ex-husband had my kids in like North or South Carolina for a summer vacation.
Right.
So they were not, and I was not in my right mind. I was very suicidal. I was very traumatized. Like I said, I was very scared about my future. And my kids are the reason I'm here today. Like, I'm not going to lie. My kids are the reason. They were the reasons I was fighting so hard before, but they're the reasons I continue to, because they're the only people that matter to me. Yeah. And, so thank God my ex was out of town for like 2 weeks. And then when they came back, I was doing a little better. And it's so sad because the job that I had, I was a field trip teacher essentially, and I taught 5th grade students. So when I started the job, my twins were in preschool. And my twins they are in 5th grade this year. And I had been working with their principal to bring their school to our program. They were finally going to come to mommy's program.
Oh, God.
So that was a real hard,
right.
Maybe out of everything that happened, that conversation with my kids broke my heart the most. Where I had to sit down and tell them, like, you're not going to get to come to mommy's class this year because I'm fired. And originally I said that I was they know YouTubers and stuff. Sure. So I said, mommy's going to model and I'm going to be an influencer. Now they know about OnlyFans, but in the beginning, kind of like getting them used to this idea of I'm not a teacher anymore.
Yeah, no, I mean, then on top of it, you have to explain to them why there's a photographer from Inside Edition, like in the bushes and shit. You know what I mean? Like that, no mom should have to do that. You know. So you make that 17K, and you're like depressed and traumatized. Where you're like, oh,
Yes.
okay. So you pay.
That didn't make me feel better.
No. But then you're like, maybe I can twist this. You do the second round, and then does it,
Yes.
like, monetarily, does it just double? Does it go up? Does it
Oh,
slow?
I wish I had this like perfect
Right.
story.
No, we don't
like,
want a perfect story.
no, it's never that easy.
No.
I wish I had, because when that first month happened, I was like, oh my God, I'm like, this is gonna happen every month after.
Right.
But I did learn the hustle of OnlyFans, and I did learn how lots of people are just eye candy and you're kind of flavor of the day. So then it was like my income went down. October, I think I had a $10,000 month, but I would say many of the months I've made less than I was making teaching, or maybe slightly more. I wish I had the story where I was like, this just catapulted me. I became a millionaire.
Well, you will. You will.
Yeah, it's on its way.
Totally.
It's on its way. The money's on its way. I know I'm going to be a millionaire. I think it's going to be through a lawsuit. And not necessarily OnlyFans, but I'll tell you what, OnlyFans has saved my ass.
Yeah.
They've always been there. And, not just OnlyFans, but I do video chats on Snapchat. So somehow, some way, somebody is always finding me to like bless me with money.
Yeah.
They're like, here's $1,000. Here's $200. Here's $25. Like, the universe has just offered me the safety net of like, you're going to be okay. This is all going to work out. But I do work really hard to like, I'll book every podcast.
Fuck yeah.
Last month I was pitching my story to journalists. I got into Business Insider and, the Daily Star in the UK, and then another tabloid out in Australia. So, and I did that all by myself.
Yeah,
like,
no, you're the one who's fucking persistent. You think I'm You're persistent. Jesus.
Oh, I will too. I'm gonna knock on those doors. You're gonna write about my story.
Totally, yeah, and it's such a great story because again, I think it's a moment in time that I think will be looked back on. Whenever we sort of go into whatever weirdo thing is next, and this stuff becomes not so heated, right? I mean, politically, sexually, culturally. The fucking teacher, your story has it all, right? And I have a gut feeling that you're going to be talking to Netflix or Hulu soon. So like, you heard it here first. Like I'm telling you, let's see if they can do a little cameo with the podcast guy, right?
I would love it.
That would be amazing.
They'll do little clips of every.
Sure, yeah, because you're hitting all these great podcasts, this one included, and you're telling the story in the different layers and the different versions. Because I listened to the other ones, right, and this one you're doing now, it has a little bit of a different flavor to it, and I love that, and that's what's great about your story. Where does it go from here? So you're on the way to being a millionaire. You're doing all these things, all these podcasts. The press is still on it. It's a great story, right? So, what kind of things are you doing on OnlyFans? Have you found yourself like expanding? Like, I'm going to do more now because these guys are like wanting this. Like, what does it look like on OnlyFans?
It's so interesting because it's like my fans are watching my journey in real time. So that is the beauty of like being a fan on my page is like you're watching Sarah like explore and try and test and see what she likes and see what she doesn't want to do anymore. So, like I said, it was crazy because when I started the page, I was celibate, like not having sex. Right. Not, the only thing I was trying to do was like sell some news. That was it for some gas money. After I went out to Dr. Phil, I met my friend Nicole Mitchell, and the next month I flew back out to LA to make my first girl content. So it was like these beautiful women I'm taking photos with. We have this sexy hot tub scene. We're like sucking each other's titties. I've never done that before.
Were you
So
nervous
I
about
have,
doing it? Did it take a bunch of tequila to get you in the hot tub, or how does this work?
we weren't drunk at all. No, because it was like, the cool thing with content makers is because it's such a platform of consent, everyone's cool with like, do you want to try this? Does this feel good? If not, and then I also learned the beauty of like implied photos and videos where you don't necessarily have to do the thing. You just, it's the fantasy of it. It's the people wanting. So I have one boy girl video, which I'll probably wait on until I get partnered. And then
So you shot it, but you haven't released it.
I shot it. I have released it, okay. But it was, I felt pressured to make it because I'm like, if I want to make the big money on OnlyFans, I really need the boy girl content. But it was just with kind of a stranger, and it's not the like, if I'm producing boy girl content, like I want to be partnered, and I want to be like having so much fun because this is my person, right. And I'm so into this, and this is like, you get a sneak peek into my sexy life that I'm enjoying so much. So for me, I think pausing on that until I become partnered again. But I have discovered the fun of sex toys. And so now, like, I had a sex toy company on Instagram send me some toys to test and try, and then I gave a review on them. So all that content is on my OnlyFans page. I do a lot of nudes, and then particularly I've been doing like video chat calls.
Yeah.
But I've been in deep contemplation about where I fit on this OnlyFans platform, what I want to do on there, how I want to create this intentional page. And it kind of like what we were discussing earlier about people having so much shame and traumas around sex and their bodies and sexuality. I have recently discovered that the type of sex work or virtual sex work that I love doing that really resonates with me is the type that is very healing for somebody else. So I've done some virtual video chats with an autistic man who's never had sex and never been kissed before. And that was good because people think that people, I don't know if you would consider a disability. I don't want to label it in any way, but autistic people or Down syndrome people or something, that they're not sexual, but everybody is. And people need to have a healthy place to express their sexual energy. And I did a video chat with this, like, I think he's 27-year-old virgin.
Okay.
And he kind of shared with me like all of his insecurities around his body and this and that. And he's in his head because he's never had sex before. And we had this like great and beautiful virtual chat. I was like his hype girl, like you can do this, like, you know,
fuck yeah.
Like, your sex is not as big of a deal as you're making it because you've gone so long without having it, you know. Finding probably like a good, safe friend to have that first experience with would benefit him so much instead of being in his head that something's wrong with him. Nothing's wrong with him. Or if he remains a virgin because he wants to, or that's just the way life is playing out, it's okay. It's acceptable. I was telling you before we started recording, was on another podcast, and the host reached out to me and said, hey, I am doing sex therapy with a couple, and they are looking for a person to have like a virtual threesome with. There were some things that had gone down in their marriage that I think this experience could be very, very healing for them. So I said, yeah, tell him to go to my OnlyFans page, book this with me. And so I do the video chat with him and his wife, and they're like so nice, such a lovely couple. We talk about their experience beforehand. We talk about kind of the purpose of the call, which is like to increase intimacy between them, and also to explore the fantasy of having a threesome and bring another woman into the bedroom, but doing it in a virtual way that feels safe and healing and fun and exciting for all parties. And in the beginning of the video call, the wife was not on board. She was not happy about this call, not interested in it. So we kind of talked through all that, and we had a great experience. One of my kinks actually is voyeurism. I'm more of a vanilla person, but I like to watch. And so it was this really sexy experience for me because I'm like watching them, and it's hot. And I had a great time, and I was hoping that they did too. And then the very next day, the husband messages me and was like, that was amazing. We were so turned on. We fucked again after you got off the call. And he said, this is the best I felt in months and months. And he said, my wife loved it. She got into putting on the show for you. And he said, she's interested in doing this again.
Netflix, are you listening? For fuck's sake. Oh my God. Like, this thing just writes itself. And what's great about it is it's still going. So we can get 3 seasons, like right up front. Sign that fucking check, Netflix.
And you know what? I have this, I'm manifesting this because it made me realize like what I really want to do is I want to be on TV as a sex educator. Do you remember like Dr. Ruth?
Of course.
And Adam and Dr. Drew Pinsky.
A Love Line.
Or something.
Yep.
I want to bring that back.
Yeah.
And be the sex education teacher you didn't know you needed. And I want to do everything, like talk about toys, talk about intimacy, talk about the parts of sex that people don't want to talk about because they're embarrassed about. I want to remove the shame around bodies and sex and sexuality so that people can live sexy and free. Like, that's my deepest wish.
Well, I would play Adam Carolla to your Dr. Drew any fucking day. I was just thinking it too. It would be so great.
I was thinking we would make the best duo.
Yeah.
Like, so you're fun and crazy, and I'm like, more like on the sweet side and thoughtful, and like I think we would make it like a really dynamic team.
No, I would love that. I would love to just do even like a one-off special where we take questions or something. I'm totally in. We should do that. Yeah, we should totally do it.
You know what? We could try something out like that on Facebook Live.
Totally.
Oh, wait, or no, not Facebook Live. I was gonna say Instagram Live, but they might shut us down if we talk about anything.
I've had a lot of Instagram Lives that were pretty fucking raunchy that they didn't do anything with, but I mean, we can totally figure it out.
Anytime I do an Instagram Live and mention OnlyFans, I just discard it.
Well, I mean,
I'm just like,
sure. Yeah.
I'm so worried. I did one TikTok live and mentioned I was the teacher fired for an OnlyFans page, and they banned me from going live.
Yeah. You can't say OnlyFans anywhere but YouTube. Okay,
yeah.
so okay, we're getting close to the end of the interview. I think we've given them some things to look forward to, maybe.
I know what's coming.
Yeah, seriously, it's gonna be great. But one quick question to wrap up the OnlyFans piece. What is the most common request that you are getting from people on OnlyFans? Because I think a lot of people don't realize you can post your stuff, whatever, but a lot of people just have accounts. They're like $5, $10, $20. Sometimes they're free, and then you can buy off their menu. So then they send stuff to you. So like, what requests are you getting? Is it weird stuff? Is it normal? Is it like just the middle of the road?
People are pretty normal. There's a few out there where their kinks are a little more like on the imagination side, but I'm also very like no kink shaming.
Yeah,
I'm very much into that. The boy girl, the like one boy girl video I want. I think especially because it's the only one I have. They just want to see it.
Of course,
yeah. But you know what's exclusive to my page?
What's that?
I do a dick rating report card, and I have a little template. And so lots of guys will come. And that's like a whole topic that I want to talk about,
Sure.
which is like this men's over like identification with their penis. Like, you know, some of them, one guy said to me, I'm doing the best I can. Don't be too judgmental. But it's even things like that where I'm like, where in the programming for men do we teach them that their worthiness or, you know, even the highest attribute that they can offer a woman is in their penis? And it's not. Like, I will tell you as a woman, that is not. Like, stop sending the dick pics on the dating sites because that's not what a woman...
No, yeah, and that's
like so far down the list.
Totally.
But it's at the top of the men's list.
Yeah, that's crazy. It is
yeah,
crazy.
so I have the and then I do have like some people like the humiliation stuff. So I have a humiliation report card. So the dick rating stuff surprised me. I was like, is this a real thing?
Yeah.
But then I was happy as a woman because I'm like, hey, I'm getting paid to look at.
Yeah, they're not just sending them for free, right? Yeah, exactly. Are you doing are you doing like teacher-based content now? Because if you are, I think that's fucking hilarious.
Yeah, I have like the sexy teacher, like the overalls with the plaid skirt. I do have like, I had some stickers made. Oh, I think it's over on my other desk. It says, Miss Sarah sharpens my pencil.
Yeah.
I have a little rainbow penis that said Miss Sarah loved my dick. Like I've got custom stickers made for myself. So I really started playing up the teacher kink and the teacher fantasy. When I first started OnlyFans, I thought I was going to be MILF.
Yeah, that's the thing is like you just spin the fucking wheel and they just sort of find whatever. But like to brand the teacher stuff, I mean the pencil sharpener shit is so perfect for you.
Yeah.
Like what a way, like your whole story again. Somebody you know at Hulu or Netflix pay attention, but like it's not just a story about what you're seeing, it's also the story of like how to take an enormous negative and turn it into a huge fucking positive. I think that's amazing.
And also like to empower people that you have the pen to write your own story. Don't ever give your power away to somebody else,
right?
Because you know I thankfully, through the process of healing and like coming back through this, realize that I'm blessed and unstoppable, and that's all anybody needs to know about me.
That's fucking amazing. So I've chosen, I have this segment, I have not done it in a long time. It's called The Burner. It's like 10 or 12 questions. We sort of rapid fire them. They're like a little more like raunchy, a little more fun. So if you want to go through the burner, we'll go through the burner.
Yeah, let's do it.
Hell yeah. Okay. Question 1, name something you wish men would stop doing.
Dick pics.
Name something you wish women would stop doing.
Shaming their bodies.
Name something you wish you would stop doing.
Underestimating myself.
There we go. Have you ever been to a sex party in real life? I think you already answered this, but go ahead.
Yeah, not yet, but I would at least like to go and voyeur.
Fuck yeah. Favorite guilty pleasure?
Sex toys.
Name a person alive or dead that you can have sex with and spend time with for one day.
The Rock.
Okay. Backstreet Boy. I don't know why that's funny. It just is. I feel like there'd be a lot of women's choices.
Yeah. I don't know why.
It just came out. Yeah, I love that. See, that's what this segment is great.
So fast.
Totally. Backstreet Boys or NSYNC?
NSYNC all the way.
Spice Girls or the Pussycat Dolls?
Ooh, those are Pussycat Dolls.
Okay. Briefly tell us one of your craziest sex experiences.
Oh, craziest sex experiences. I would say I went on a date with this guy. We had like this crazy, insane sexual energy. And we kind of were like getting it on at the movie theater. He was definitely like fingering me. We were in the movie theater. Like, I think I have like a public places kink too. Like you should, if you're dating me, you should not take me places that I go down on you, or like we're gonna sneak away. Or
now they're gonna take you everywhere. Yeah, yeah. That's awesome, and that works. Favorite comfort movie or show? What are you putting on at night to chill out and fall asleep to?
Ooh, favorite show. I like shows like 90 Day Fiance.
Okay.
Just the ridiculous dating. I always figured I'd be on one.
Well, you might. Most used app on your phone?
Ooh, most used app. It would be Instagram or OnlyFans, probably.
Yeah, there we go. Flaming hot or probably not. So are you a fan of the flaming hot snacks?
Probably not.
Okay, probably not. Best music to bang to?
Ooh, I like Usher, like the real sexy, sensual, like
R&B. Yeah, fuck yeah. Do you have a Finsta account? Do you have a fake Instagram account?
No.
Okay.
Do people?
I do. Yeah.
Fake?
Yeah, so you can spy on people and shit and like keep tabs on people.
No, but somebody just made an account to be like me, like
cloning you and trying to take all your stuff or whatever.
Or like what is it? They're like
impersonating. Yeah.
Impersonating.
Oh, God,
someone was like,
fuck.
Is this you? And I said no.
Yeah, no. That was weird. You'll be able to get the blue check, I think, soon, right? Or you have a blue.
I got it.
Boom! She's got the blue check.
I got it before the you can buy it.
Fuck
I got it
you
for
did. Yes.
I'm a celebrity.
Hell yeah, you need it for what's coming. Okay, and finally, say something to one of your exes. You don't have to say who. Just make a statement.
Okay. Look at me now!
Yeah! Sarah Juree, let's tell them where they can find you and they can give you all their money. They can follow you on social.
Yes. Fund me. Fund my dreams. My Instagram, all of my socials are Sarah with an H, Juree, Juree. My OnlyFans page, I kind of did go with the teacher name. It's love_Miss Sarah with an H_VIP. So you get to come into my classroom, into my world. And it's only $9.99. Let's be real. It's going to be your best $9.99 you spend today.
There you go. Go check it out. Thank you so much for being here. I look forward to talking to you more about maybe something we're going to do together. And then I will have you back whenever you want to come back.
Okay, perfect.
Amazing.
I see we have good chemistry.
I totally agree. We got to figure that out.
I'd love to be the Dr. Drew and Adam.
Yeah.
Thing.
I think we could do so much fun shit. Totally.
So much fun.
Yeah.
That's what life's about.
Totally. Thanks again. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
See ya. I mean, whoa, holy shit, right? What an awesome fucking interview. I want to say thank you to Sarah Juree for being my guest on the show this week. Make sure you guys are going over to her socials and her OnlyFans and all the other things and supporting her. I think there's some big things to come with her in the future. I think it's just getting started. If you think Sex Party is just getting started and you want more of it, if you love this show, you want more guests like Sarah, you feel that need, that desire, that burning sensation that is not an STD, that is love, right? How do you express it? If you are listening on platforms like Apple and Spotify, you can subscribe to the show. It's the most important. You can leave a rating. You can leave a review. If you are watching on YouTube, if you're watching on YouTube, I love you. I see you. I appreciate you. You mean the world. You can like the video. You can leave a comment. You can subscribe to the channel. You don't have to do shit. You don't have to do anything. Just enjoy these episodes. But it means a lot to me if you do any of those things. You guys can reach me in the DMs on Instagram. And I will see you right back here next week.
Thanks for listening. The party continues next week. Click subscribe and let's make this a regular thing. Follow the show on Instagram and Twitter @SexPartyFM. Follow Dustin at Dustin Rybka.